It's Star Wars Podcast Week, and we're here to talk about all things Star Wars. We are celebrating Star Wars Podcast Day and on today, and so we've got an interesting what if kind of situation going on. So, welcome to Two Geeks and a Microphone. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Two Geeks and a Microphone. I am your co-host, Mr. Stephen Boster, along with the one, the only, who's not drinking coffee today, Mr. Michael Shanks. Mike, say hey to everybody.
Good morning to all you geeks out there in Geekdom land. No, I'm not drinking coffee, but probably drinking what I shouldn't be drinking, Diet Coke. So.
Right. What's funny, I was telling Mike before the show, everybody, that I was like, well, I'm gonna have to give up soda. And so I'm actually not a coffee drinker, but I'm starting to learn to be a coffee drinker. So I have coffee today. And Mike, instead of having coffee as he normally does, has a soda.
That's because we're out of water. I gotta go get water after we do this podcast.
Oh my goodness. Well, hey, welcome to the show, everybody. Today we are going to be talking Star Wars, and we're doing kind of like a what if episode. And so it's going to be fun to kind of go through and have a discussion about primarily what is it? It's if Qui-Gon beat Darth Maul, but we are going to use AI to help us write this story. So it's going to be interesting how that works out. We'll be tweaking and stuff along the way, but we got more that we'll talk about here in a little bit. And the biggest thing is we are celebrating, was it 20, how many years of Star Wars podcasts?
It is, oh shoot, is it 20 or 25?
I think it's 20.
Wait a minute, 1999 was the first, the premiere of Jedi Talks. It was February 7th, 1999. So
okay, so it's 25 years.
25 years of Star Wars podcasting. And we should probably, just for those who may be tuning in because it's Star Wars Podcast Day, first of all, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Second of all, as you can see, we are not a premier Star Wars podcast, meaning we don't just do Star Wars podcast. We do anything in geek culture. You know, it could be Star Wars, it could be DC, it could be Marvel, it could be just about anything. But I speak for myself when I say my first love in geekdom was Star Wars. So we do an overabundance of Star Wars stuff, even though that we are not premier Star Wars podcast.
Right. And we've been celebrating Star Wars Podcast Day, gosh, with hundreds of other podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
And it's great because we start with a number 2. And so we're always real way up on the list when people see the list of podcasts.
I kept cheating, I guess.
Not really. Well, yeah, kind of, sort of. But if you check out Star Wars #StarWarsPodcast Day, you'll be able to find out more information. And we've been doing this every year since we've been doing the podcast.
Yes. This will be the 4th year of Star Wars Podcast Day. And this is our 4th time doing it. So,
yeah. So
we're glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. So I'm interested. We're going to talk all things Star Wars today, specifically about storytelling and stuff. But Mike, do we want to go ahead and start you doing our Geekdar?
Yeah, let's jump into the Geekdar.
Control with the radar, sir.
What's wrong with it?
I've lost the bleeps, I've lost the sweeps, and I've lost the creeps.
The what?
The what?
And the what?
You know, the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps.
That's not all he's lost.
All right. And again, for anyone new listening, Geekdar is kind of our segment on. It's almost like mine and Steven's show and tell time.
Yeah, what's on our geek radar? Geekdar.
Right. What's on our Geekdar? It could be anything from comic books. It could be movies, TV shows, pretty much anything. I tend to lean towards comic books quite a bit for the Geekdar segment of the show. And today I have yet another comic book. Most regular fan listeners will know that I am an avid Thrawn, Star Wars character Thrawn fan, and a big fan of Timothy Zahn, the writer and creator of the Thrawn character. And I had purchased the Thrawn comic books, which went with the I can't say newest trilogy now because there's another Thrawn trilogy out at this point, but it was the first Thrawn trilogy in the new Disney canon, Marvel comic books, a few years back. So I bought all those, and that was of the first Thrawn book out of that first trilogy. The second Thrawn book is called Thrawn Alliances, and they just over the last few weeks released issue number 1 of the comics adaptation of the Thrawn Alliance novel. So I got that.
Looks good.
It's a beautiful cover too. Thrawn looks amazing on it. Now I am disappointed because I wanted to get the I don't normally buy alternative covers because I just got away from that. Years ago I used to do all the collecting and I would get multiple covers and so on and so forth, but I've tried to step away from that because it gets expensive. And I never sell the darn thing, so I never make any money off of them, so there's just no reason to. But there was an alternate cover for this one. I thought they had a picture of it in here. I guess they don't. And I did go out and look for it, but I couldn't find it. The alternate cover actually looked like one of the alternate covers for the novel, and it had both Thrawn and Vader on the cover, but it was Thrawn in his in his Chiss uniform, not in his Empire uniform.
Not the Empire uniform. Oh,
it was really cool, but I couldn't find it. So that's my Geekdar for the day.
Right on. Okay. Well, cool. Delioso. All right. Well, are we ready to go to the main event?
Yeah, if you are.
We'll see. It's time for the main event. Here's a big shout out to our friends, the Three Geeky Dads podcast. They posted, "Hello there." Hello there.
Here, real quick before we get started, let me play this.
You are listening to Mike and Stephen on Two Geeks and a Microphone. Welcome to the Geekdom.
From C3PO himself.
Right on. Yes, that is the one. All right, everybody. Well, we're going to hit this because we're going to hit the ground running because we don't know where this may lead or how this may go. But today we're going to use AI to help us do some storytelling. And I'm pretty excited to see where this goes. And so Mike had the idea, hey, some people seem to be interested in the AI storytelling and how we do it and those kinds of things. And so we're tweaking some abilities and how to use it. And I use Claude AI for doing storytelling and things like that. And I've played around with it some, and then we use 11 Labs to do the voices, to have an AI voice read it, and they have the most natural sounding AI voices that do it. There's some that aren't so much, but there are some that sound really good. So with that, we are going to kind of go step by step with a particular idea and just kind of see how things go, and particularly focusing on Star Wars. So we're going to create some Star Wars fan fiction, really is what it boils down to. And then for those who are Ko-fi listeners, we are going to actually have the audio book style for it as well. So if you support us on Ko-fi, we really appreciate it. We really enjoy it. We've been with them for several years, so it's great because we're locked in at an early bird price.
Nice.
And stuff. So oh, hey, Sage Page Omega is in the house too as
Hey,
well.
what's up,
Sage. So Sage is on Twitch. He says, "Morning, gentlemen. Have you guys read the theory of Star Wars movie having titles in the wrong order?" I have not.
No, I have not seen that. Not at all. Now, I did want to interject something here.
Yes.
First of all, we have a few Star Wars What If episodes previously.
We do.
So
We
you
do.
can go back and you can see those on YouTube or go back and listen to them, whichever
Mhm.
you'd like. And also, there's rumors that Star Wars is actually going to possibly do a What If series. So there is a possibility we could get this officially, unofficially. I don't know how you say that.
Right.
Because I mean, it wouldn't technically be part of the canon, but it would be official because it would be Lucasfilms Limited doing it. So, or Disney doing it, however you want to say it. So,
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that there has been all this talk, and we've been dabbling in the what if thing for, I don't know, 2 years now. So,
Right. I think we used it was just over a year ago. We used Chat GPT to help us write the stories. So this time we're using Claude. So I'm pretty excited about it. Okay, so here's Sage coming back to give us a little bit more information about it. So he says, what happens in episode 1? We meet Anakin Skywalker, the rise of Skywalker. Years later, we found out that Palpatine, leader of the Sith, has ordered an army to destroy the Jedi, Revenge of the Sith. In episode 3, Order 66 happens and the clones attack. Attack of the Clones.
not bad.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Well done, actually.
All right. All right, everybody. Well, let's get this party started. All right. Dun, 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 dun. I'm going to share my screen, everybody, specifically on Claude. What's really fun with Claude, you can have it name you. So I did welcome back. Oh, Captain, my captain, rather than my name. That, everybody, is a Dead Poet Society reference. If you have not seen the movie with the late, great Robin Williams, it is probably his first huge breakout drama role. It's fabulous. I just love
probably
it.
right.
All right.
I didn't really think about that, but yeah, you're probably right.
So here we go, everybody. Let's do this. All right. So when do you want to start off? We're going to do this. As I'm going to say, so we're going to say you are a let's see, how should I say this? Star Wars. How should I say this? You are a Star Wars, a seasoned and successful. What I'm doing here, everybody, is I'm setting up Claude specifically to know kind of the genre and where we're headed and what they are. So Star Wars author with over. So you are a seasoned and successful Star Wars author with over 25 years experience and multiple best sellers. What this does is this tunes this chat, we'll put it that way, or this prompt to let Claude know that this is kind of where we're headed. This is who you are. So he'll zoom in and start. The algorithm will come from this position.
Cool.
We would like to create a short, I want to say, what if style story. We like to create a what if style story to explore what if Qui-Gon, how do you spell it? Oh my gosh, Qui-Gon Jinn.
I think it's one N, and then I don't know if Jin has two N's or not. I don't remember.
Oh my gosh, all of a sudden I'm having a brain hiccup. This is what happens when you get older, everybody. Megan, how do I spell it? How to spell Qui-Gon Jinn?
Qui-Gon-Jinn.
Two N's.
Ah, there it is. Yep.
Hopefully I put two N's in the title and on the thumbnail. I don't remember if I did or not.
You did in the title. So I can see that.
Yeah, I don't remember if I did in our thumbnail or not. I'm not going to change it if I didn't. Oh well.
Skywalker. Okay, so I said, what if Qui-Gon Jinn survived his battle with Darth Maul and trained Anakin Skywalker?
There we go.
So that's next. So I'm going to tell it how big this is. Eventually, we want the story to be around 10,000 words. But first, what would be a good
now, are you limited on words? Do you have
I am not. I pay $20 a month for Claude, so I am not limited.
Gotcha. Okay.
And actually, what's really cool is Claude can take a book of 75,000 words and you can upload it. Everybody see the little paperclip? I can add a PDF, text, CSV, or whatever, and it can be 75,000 words, and I can upload it, and it will read it. Like I put in a book. For those who don't know, I have a communication specific certification, and I was able to put in a whole book, and I'm having Claude test me from material from the book. So wow. I can actually have it as a teacher to test me. It's pretty cool. All right. So, but first, what would be a good short story framework for this idea, along with some story beats? And so that's kind of how we're going to start. Okay. So we gave it the idea. We told it eventually how big it's going to be. And first, we're just saying, what's a good short story framework for this idea along with story beats? Why are we doing that? Because we may not like where it may go. So we want to be able to control story beats as we go along. So I'm asking for a framework. And then as we can control the story beats, we can include different ideas. For example, one of the things that we put in our description, everybody, was for the show was, well, what happens to the relationship with him and Padme? So we want to make sure we include that as well. All right, here we go. I'm going to push enter.
Oh, there are so many questions we could go with.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not going to try and read all that while it's going through.
I know, but it's going pretty quick, right?
You have a hello from Joker.
I believe that's Gerald. Hey, Gerald.
Gerald. Right on. Thank you. Okay, so here's what it says, everybody. So here's suggested short story framework with some key story beats for a what if Qui-Gon Jinn survived the battle with Darth Maul and trained Anakin Skywalker scenario. Opening, describe the pivotal battle scene where Qui-Gon Jinn defeats Darth Maul but is severely wounded. Obi-Wan helps tend to his wounds as they realize Qui-Gon will live. Qui-Gon feels he still has more to teach, and Anakin still needs training. Then training begins. Shows some key elements in Anakin's early Jedi training with Qui-Gon, highlight Qui-Gon's more rebellious attitudes towards the Jedi Council and how that influences Anakin. Gradually, Qui-Gon comes into conflict with the Council over training approaches. Turning point, a critical mission tests Qui-Gon and Anakin's relationship. When Anakin loses control of his emotions, he taps into the dark side. Qui-Gon manages to reach him, but realizes just how close he came to failing his promise to train Anakin properly.
Okay, now wait, just for a second. Can you go back a little bit? So, all right, turning point, a critical mass, a critical mission test, Qui-Gon Jinn.
Make that bigger.
Yeah, thanks. Now I lost where I'm at. Anyway, so
point?
There we go. Critical mission. Qui-Gon and Anakin's relationship. When Anakin loses control of his emotions, he taps into the dark side. Qui-Gon manages to reach. See, this is an interesting idea, in the fact that we still get Anakin embracing the dark side, but yet he's not necessarily getting how should I say, groomed by Palpatine in order to embrace the dark side. But it also questions, because Qui-Gon goes against the council, so it kind of questions Qui-Gon's stance as somewhere in between the council and in between Anakin's turning to the dark side. So these are really interesting ideas. I like this.
Yeah, and the nice thing is when you do story beats like this, we can go back and change something before we really get rolling.
Gotcha.
And what's nice is as we've created this chat, or this specific Angie, hey, as we've created this one, it will remember everything. Claude will remember everything that we've talked about, that we've been talking about in this specific area and stuff. So, did you hear the dog? The dog's going crazy.
It almost sounds like the dog's trying to talk to you.
Yeah, he does. He wants to talk and say hi. Critical mission tests Qui-Gon and Anakin's relationship. When Anakin loses control of his emotions, he taps into the dark side. Qui-Gon manages to reach him, but realizes just how close he came to failing his promise to train Anakin properly. Making amends, Qui-Gon admits to Obi-Wan and the council he pushed Anakin too hard too fast. He rededicates himself to patience and moderation in training Anakin. We see Qui-Gon employ more wisdom and restraint. Closing scene. Anakin is knighted. So our big ultimate, the kind of the final scene is Anakin is knighted, and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan look on proudly. Qui-Gon reflects on training the chosen one, and while challenging how his survival and guidance help steer Anakin's future towards bringing balance to the Force. So we can switch. We kind of change this. I'm okay with him getting knighted and stuff. I do think there's something to be said about the gray Jedi influence.
Well, and I think it's important that Anakin gets knighted still, because we still get those Clone War moments. I think the Clone Wars would probably still happen, and this maybe we'd see even more Anakin being that hero that we all wanted to see. Which we did get in the Clone Wars cartoon series, by the way. If you've not watched the Clone Wars cartoon series, I highly recommend majority of it. There are some stinkers throughout it here and there, but for the most part, it is a very good series, and I believe it enhances episode 1. But I think it's important that we see the development of Anakin as a great general in the Clone Wars, and Anakin and Obi-Wan's friendship develop also. And this could add a whole different diagram to it, or a whole different idea, in the fact that you still got Qui-Gon around, so Qui-Gon can still mentor Obi-Wan also while he's mentoring Anakin, and it kind of gives this whole brothers and father feel to it.
Oh, right. Okay. All right. Let's include some of this. Okay. So, I always talk to Claude as I'm talking to someone else, because it is a more conversational style algorithm. I said, great. We like, excuse me. We leaky. We like leaky. We like.
You're gonna put Loki.
Right. Loki. Oops. Loki. Wow, we're really mixing the archetypes and stories. Crossing the streams. Just FYI, a little fun note on storytelling. So J.R.R. Tolkien, who wrote Lord of the Rings, was upset. He and C.S. Lewis were good friends, and he always disagreed with C.S. Lewis because C.S. Lewis mixed his mythologies together. Like he took from Greek, and he took Greek mythologies, monsters from Greek mythologies, and then Roman and some other ones, and so he always gave him a hard time with that.
Are you seeing Sage's suggestion here?
I do. Hey, everybody, we're going to post something real quick. So Sage put this
Now,
on.
if you guys got a suggestion as we're going through this, throw it out there.
Wouldn't it be interesting if Qui-Gon notices the Chancellor's interest in Anakin and he becomes suspicious and later learns that he is Sith Lord instead of Anakin finding out?
I like that. I like that.
Okay, so here's what we'll do. Sage, we're going to include that.
Excellent suggestion, Sage. Thank you.
All right. We like the story beats and would like to add the following aspects. In terms of character development, we would like to add the aspect of the father and son dynamic relationship dynamic between Qui-Gon and Anakin, along with a brotherhood. What's a fun way to say that? Brotherhood, a brotherhood connection.
Okay, go ahead.
Between Obi-Wan and Anakin. Also, within the story, we would like to add a story beat in the middle of our story where Qui-Gon notices the Chancellor's interest, Chancellor Palpatine's interest in Anakin, and Qui-Gon becomes suspicious. That's okay. Suspicious. Yep. I don't think that's how you spell that. Watch this. I have a editing software that helps me.
Is it going to get Palpatine right? Oh, okay. It's just it capitalized. Okay.
I did it. Yeah, just now. Well, hello there. Hello, Angie. Hello. Okay, I'm back, I think. Hello. You were there. You were back, Angie. Okay. Becomes suspicious. Becomes suspicious.
He starts saying that. All I could think of was Elvis' Suspicious Minds.
That's a great song. I like the updated version too.
We just heard it in when we were at what's the chicken place, Megan?
Raising Cane's.
Yeah, we were at Raising Cane's and they were playing it.
Palpatine is a Sith Lord instead of Anakin. Okay, so I'm just going to put those points in there.
Angie's in a cafe in London right now.
Nice.
She's across the pond.
All right, so here's what's happening. We're getting our story beats, and
yeah, I'm not reading that all through.
Yeah, I'll get it. Well, it goes pretty quick. I like how it does that.
Yeah,
okay, so here we go. So here's what Claude says. Excellent additions! !
I like that.
We can enrich those relationships and build tension around Palpatine. The father-son dynamic show tender moments between Anakin and Qui-Gon, perhaps Anakin seeking his wisdom and approval, that fatherly approval. I like that. Yep. Yet also tension as Qui-Gon's unorthodox training conflicts with Anakin's patience. Perhaps a rift forms at one point, leading to a turning point of Anakin tapping into his anger because he feels abandoned or betrayed. The reconciliation then becomes more powerful.
See, and I like that they have a reconciliation there, and it doesn't separate them, but and it makes it more powerful. That I like that idea.
Yep.
Great idea.
Obi-Wan Anakin brotherhood. Early on, show camaraderie and humor between them as peers despite the age gap. Obi-Wan can relate better to Anakin's frustrations with Qui-Gon while also encouraging patience and restraint. Adds a great secondary perspective on Anakin's training.
Nice.
Suspicious of Palpatine. Midpoint, Qui-Gon notices Anakin speaking frequently of Palpatine, who subtly criticizes the Jedi as being holding Anakin back. Qui-Gon researches in the archives and tracks clues that make him investigate Palpatine as possibly being the Sith Lord. Confrontation, Qui-Gon accuses Palpatine and fights him in a duel alone where Palpatine almost kills him, but it confirms the truth to the council. Sets up Palpatine as the ultimate villain going forward and adds tension knowing he's secretly evil well before the prequel reveals.
Interesting. So it's almost like we had the aspect of Qui-Gon research in it. That feels almost like Obi-Wan in episode 2 when he goes to the Jedi archives, and
yes,
he's looking for. Well, he was looking for
Kamino.
Yeah, Kamino. So that almost sounds like that, and then the confrontation almost sounds like Mace Windu when he's coming in to arrest Palpatine. So interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yep. So I think we've got some neat setup. So I hope this is helpful, everybody, so you can learn how to use AI on your own or for yourself. If you're really curious about trying out AI, I would suggest a tool called openrouter.ai. You can just add a little bit of money to it, and you can use any kind of model you want. All the ones that are out there, ChatGPT 3.3, 3.5, 4 Turbo, plus, or you can use Claude version 1, 2, or 3. You can use other ones, and some are free to use. So free is free. Free 90 free is great. I have found personally Claude to be the best storytelling AI. That's why I bought a subscription to it. I'm learning about storytelling. I have AI teaching me about storytelling too, as well, those kinds of things. Now, so what we did, everybody, was we got our idea. Then we said, let's put our idea in a short story framework. What does that look like? And then we kind of confirmed some stuff, added some things. So now here's what I'm going to do.
As you see Sage's comment, how to use AI story. Sage, answer, just ask Mike and Steven. Steven's more the expert than I am. I'm the Padawan learner at this also. So
I'm also part of a group called Story Hackers. And the Nerdy Novelist on YouTube is the guy who runs that. And he is such a genuine, the guy who does it, Nerdy Novelist, just such a genuine guy, and is really good. It is a monthly thing, but he teaches you all about AI storytelling. He's now going into how to build a business if you want to do writing, all kinds of different things. And he's just open and learning along the way. He edits stuff along with us. He interacts. He just did for the first time the other day, he did a Zoom call for everybody who wanted a personal challenge along with him about writing your story and getting your story done, because his goal is to help everybody in the group write your first book, kind of a thing. So it's a neat guy. He really is. So Nerdy Novelist, you can get a lot of his stuff right off his YouTube channel, but I want to support him, and that's how I support him. Okay. So now I'm going to tell Claude, great, or I'll say fantastic. Those are great. Can you now reorganize, or can you now organize? I'm going to say organize our story beats into chapters along with a short description for each chapter, using the best storytelling frameworks for Star Wars novellas. Once we develop the outline, we will flesh out each chapter, but wait for our prompts for the chapter expansion. So I'm telling it what I want now and what we're going to do with it. So what that is it's telling the AI that, hey, here's what we want to do, but this is going to be the purpose for it. So it knows to remember, and it knows to keep things. It knows how we're trying to organize things. So sometimes as you get deeper and deeper, you have to remind Claude or any AI, even ChatGPT, you've got to remind them, okay, take this chapter summary, remember the last chapter, remember chapter 1 as we go into chapter 2 and expand into chapter 2. So you have to tell it what to read sometimes as you go along. So, all right, here we go. So now what we're going to do, everybody, is now we're going to see what it does. It's going to give us our chapter beats. And then, and we're going to go through each one. Now, each chapter can be 1,000 to 2,000 words. And we'll see how it goes. It may end up being longer. We're probably not going to get all this done, but we'll get some connections too. So it's doing a.
We haven't even broached the Anakin and Padmé side of the story either. So
yeah,
I don't think we're going to be able to get into that today, but
yeah, I think yeah, we'll kind of see where that goes, because that could even be a sequel to this. Is then as we continue as a Jedi Knight. So this is him becoming the Jedi Knight.
There you go.
Then it's the Jedi Knight into Jedi Master, and then what did that relationship brings up those emotions and what that looks like. Ooh, that may be good. Okay, everybody, I'm going to read through these real quick. Here we go. Here's an outline organized by chapters with short descriptions for a Star Wars novella using our established story beats. Chapter 1, survival. Established status quo change. So what the parentheses is doing, everybody, as we're reading through this, it's so survival, in parentheses, established status quo change, is the storytelling framework. So it's telling us what it's doing within the storytelling framework. So if you're curious about what kind of storytelling outline it's using, it's just telling us. So chapter 1 is all about establishing the status quo change. So survival. Qui-Gon narrowly survives his duel with Darth Maul, resolved to train Anakin despite his severe wounds. Chapter 2, training begins, parentheses, is the new situation. Qui-Gon's unconventional training of Anakin causes friction with the Jedi Council as he pushes boundaries. Chapter 3, brotherhood, build relationships. During training on missions, Obi-Wan and Anakin bond like brothers, providing levity before tensions rise.
Love it.
Chapter 4, recklessness, our inciting incident. Anakin's anger and pride endanger a mission. He taps into the dark side, wounding Qui-Gon emotionally. Chapter 5, betrayal, conflict. This is where conflict escalates in the story. Feeling abandoned by Qui-Gon's criticism after the mission, Anakin distances himself, secretly meeting with Palpatine.
Qui-Gon would be very grumpy right now.
He would be. Chapter 6, amends, attempt at reconciliation. Qui-Gon realizes he was too harsh, apologizes, and reassures a distrustful Anakin, recommitting to train him with patience. Chapter 7, suspicions. Here's our twist. Qui-Gon investigates clues that make him suspect Palpatine is a Sith Lord as he manipulates Anakin from the shadows. Chapter 8, confrontation, major setback. Qui-Gon confronts Palpatine but is nearly killed in a fierce duel. But now the Jedi Council is alerted to the truth about Palpatine. Chapter 9, trust, the darkest moment. While healing, Qui-Gon despairs over almost losing Anakin to the dark side until Obi-Wan helps restore Anakin's faith in his master. Chapter 10, balance, our climax and resolution of our story. Anakin lets go of resentment towards Qui-Gon. He passes Jedi trials, overseen by the Council, the Chosen One's future more hopeful. It says, let me know if you would like me to expand on any chapter description in more detail before moving forward. Ready to dive into expanding each chapter whenever you give the word. So remembered, I told wait for the prompts.
Right. I like that. That's cool.
You like that?
So far, I like it. A lot of it sounds really interesting. and it sounds like it could take the Star Wars universe in a completely different direction. And I love this idea of Qui-Gon and his training being different than what the council would see, because we could eventually see this developing into a new training process for the council, in a way that Jedis would be trained differently going forward. So
Yeah.
yeah, this could completely change the Star Wars universe. I really like it.
See, my thing is what if, thinking of the Mortis trilogy, because I love the Mortis trilogy. That's one of my favorite storytellings and stuff. I would, what if he still became the balance in the Force while he's training? He understands, and I don't want to take Gray Jedi too far, that concept too far, but it is that aspect of what if he brings balance to the Force, because he is truly both light and dark, like we see in Ahsoka.
Right.
The fact, Sage has got something. He said, Sage Page says, in the area of Anakin secretly meeting with Palpatine, he is informed by Palpatine that Qui-Gon is friends with Dooku, and he is the main reason for Dooku being how he is, which adds more of a rift with Anakin and Qui-Gon.
Nice.
And then he said, because now he doesn't know who to really trust. That's good. Okay.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about bringing in Count Dooku, but that makes a lot of sense too.
So that would be chapter. That would be chapter 5.
Especially if Darth Maul is killed. I don't know if he's killed in this process. If he is killed, then that I think elevates Count Dooku as far as being an apprentice. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Bringing Dooku as nice.
Yep. Okay. So let's start working on chapter 1. All right. Please give me an outline. Let's see. Let's just go ahead and start writing. Let's stop with outlines. Let's start working on chapter 1. Please provide a 1,000 word exciting start to our story based upon our chapter 1 story beat.
Now, I do have a question about Claude. So I know with ChatGPT's memory is good only up to 4 years ago or something like that. Anything between now and 4 years ago, she really doesn't, or ChatGPT doesn't really know anything.
Yeah.
So is Claude's knowledge more massive?
I don't know, to be open with you. I'm not really for sure. I do know that ChatGPT 4 is now linked with Bing, so it does have access to the internet. Okay. So you can use Bing Chat, which is ChatGPT 4, and you can actually go through the web, and it'll even cite its sources. You can tell it to cite sources and stuff, and where it gets from the web and stuff. Now, if you go to those links, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. So, so it tells me that it's using an old, kind of the Wayback Machine, that website Wayback Machine.
Right.
I think it's doing that kind of stuff. So, not really for sure. So Claude is just much more better. Thank you, Sage. Yes. Aha. Cheers. All right. This
nice. Sage got it in for us.
This scene. Okay. So here we go. I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to say, based upon our chapter 1 story beat. So here's a 950 word start to chapter 1. So it's gonna 950 words is quite a bit. So what we're gonna do, everybody,
is we're gonna get this whole thing done, but
right.
Well, we will put the finished product on our Ko-fi page, so you will be able to look at it there for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
Steven will come up with cover art for it even.
I can do cover art. I use that's where I use Open Router AI, because you get access to no, I use Poe. Poe.com will give you access to also a whole bunch of other ones, but you get so many credits a month for free. And so I use those credits for learning to generate pictures. Stable Diffusion is a good one. And there's another one that I use that's pretty good.
Cool. Now, while this is generating, so
good night.
So if anyone is interested, if you have an interest in this AI story writing thing, Steven did do an episode himself a few weeks ago when I was out seeing the Dallas Cowboys play. But he did an episode on story writing with Claude a few weeks ago, so you can always go back and check that out too.
Yep.
It's a good episode too. It was cool. All right. So we have chapter 1 now.
So I'm going to read chapter 1, everybody, just to enjoy it. This is really primarily for our listeners. So Qui-Gon Jinn could feel the burn in his muscles with every step as he raced through the Theed power station reactor core, his emerald lightsaber clashing fiercely with the red double-bladed saber of the Sith Lord Darth Maul. He had vastly underestimated Maul's skills and speed, nearly paying for it with his life several times over already during their duel. But failure was not an option now, with Queen Amidala's freedom at stake and the fate of the young Anakin Skywalker still undecided.
Nice.
Gritting through another wave of searing pain, Qui-Gon leapt onto a narrow catwalk, narrowly avoiding a blow that could have severed his leg. The sweat beaded on his forehead, not just from exertion, but the extreme heat still radiating from the plasma energy channels crisscrossing beside their elevated dueling ground. He risked a quick glance over his shoulder to see his Padawan Obi-Wan blocked behind red energy ray shields, helpless to aid him. This picking up right at episode 1, right at the end. The battle was Qui-Gon's alone, but he was tiring fast while Maul seemed energized and empowered by his mounting injuries. 2 more strikes clashed dangerously close to his ear with Maul's skilled double saber slashes. Qui-Gon gave ground, trying to guide them closer towards the edge of the reactor shaft, where he might knock the Sith off balance for a moment.
And I love this. It's not taking anything away from Darth Maul at all. He's still just a total badass that he is.
Yeah.
Love it.
And now here's the thing. It also knows the story to episode 1. Could you catch that? And we didn't teach it that. It already knew it.
It talked about Padme and her fate and everything.
So that's the other thing, is why I said at the beginning, you are a 25-year-old veteran in Star Wars storyteller. So
good point.
It knew to focus in on it. As their sabers locked tight, Maul fixed his yellow eyes on Qui-Gon's steely gaze. You cannot win, old man. I can feel your fatigue with every strained breath. You should have died years ago, forgotten like the withered ancient religion you cling to. He spat with venomous hatred.
Nice.
Qui-Gon did not take Maul's taunting bait, subtly adjusting his stance as if weakening while holding his lightsaber lock with the burly Zabrak. Burly Zabrak. Wonder what that is.
Zabrak. That's what Darth Maul is. He's a Zabrak. That's his race.
Oh, I never made that connection. It already knew that. We didn't have to teach it that. It already knew that. Knew that better than I did. What the what? This is cool. Just to reaffirm Sage's thing. So Claude is much more better. Cheers.
Much more better, too. So anyone new listening, that much more better is kind of our little catchphrase. Every time we say it, we say cheers and take a drink. So
your confidence betrays you. I sense great fear in your passion and anger. Qui-Gon calmly replied.
Nice.
With sudden explosive power, Maul shoved hard to break the saber lock, whipping around with blinding speed for a lower diagonal slash aimed to cut Qui-Gon in two across the torso. But the Jedi Master sidestepped quicker than Maul expected, dropping to one knee while slashing his emerald blade upwards across Maul's right thigh as he stumbled past. The Sith howled in surprised pain as his leg buckled, blackening flesh showing through the slit robes. Falling to one hand on the catwalk floor, Maul's rage tripled as Qui-Gon swiftly rose back to his feet. Turning and putting weight on his weakened leg caused Maul to limp, but he charged forward with a furious scream. Jabbing blows rained down on Qui-Gon, who slid back, deflecting them, the catwalk edge now pressing against his heels. Maul saw fatal victory flash before his yellow eyes, bringing his double saber up vertically to cleave Qui-Gon's skull. But the Jedi Master had guided them to this trap perfectly. With the last of his power, he leapt straight upwards. Maul's saber sliced only air as his inertia carried him forward, right over the catwalk edge into the endless reactor core shaft. His scream echoed until silenced by a distant flash far below. Qui-Gon landed gracefully, barely, his energy spent completely. The red shield wall lowered and Obi-Wan sprinted to him. Master, that was incredible. I could barely follow. He trailed off as Qui-Gon slumped down against the rail, his face drained of color. Obi-Wan quickly examined the deep, charred slash across Qui-Gon's abdomen, trying to keep the fear from his voice. Just stay still, Master. We'll get you patched. A firm grip on his shoulder stopped his attempt to examine further. Qui-Gon's normally steely eyes were softer now, full of Obi-Wan's concern. It's bad, my young Padawan. I cannot yet join the Force, though. The prophecy. Pain cut his words short as Obi-Wan squeezed his hand tightly to comfort him.
Nice.
Qui-Gon's thoughts turned to young Anakin as his head swirled. This timid but talented boy, destined, it seemed, to bring balance to the Force itself in time. But he still needed proper training that Qui-Gon now wondered if he could provide. Another wave of agony tensed his tall frame. Through it, Qui-Gon managed to turn his gaze back to Obi-Wan with as much resolute focus as he could summon. Promise me you'll train the boy when this is over. He trailed off as unconsciousness nearly took him. Obi-Wan, fearful tears in his eyes, could not yet let go. Of course, Master, but you can still... Another weak squeeze of his hand cut short his protest. Promise me, Qui-Gon whispered hoarsely. Swallowing the lump in his throat, Obi-Wan finally nodded, wiping an arm across his face. You have my word, Master. Now come on, let's get you out of here. Obi-Wan said as he carefully draped Qui-Gon's massive arm over his shoulder. The injured Jedi could only grit his teeth against the throbbing pain, hoping the Force would sustain him long enough to fulfill his vital promise regarding the Chosen One's destiny. And there you have Chapter 1.
That is cool. I really like it. Wow.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, and the nice thing is as you go along, you can tweak stuff. You go, let's change this or let's do this. So, I mean, we're still in control of the story. And so what AI does is it helps us get what we have in our mind onto paper, but at the same time, or onto paper or onto text. And then at the same time, it helps us. So you're not struggling with writer's block. It gives you options, kind of a thing as you go along. And so you are working together with AI to bring your stories to life. Now, some people say, well, that's cheating. Nah, it's not cheating. I mean, yeah, should you be open about saying, hey, we used AI to create the story and we work together with AI? Yeah, absolutely. All right, what's Sage Page's in? Sage, let's see what Sage says. Sage says, those 950 words alone are better than Rogue One and or Rey's story and all of Disney. LOL.
Ouch!
Hashtag best Star Wars ever.
Oh, dang. I don't know if I'd say better than Rogue One per se. Some of the others I would agree with Sage on.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. Well, I wish we could take all the credit for it, but we can't.
Right. We can't. But see, this is for us. This is for us to do and enjoy
Right.
and
Sure.
that kind of a thing. So yeah. And then I just want to be clear. If you're supporting us on Ko-fi, we will have or we'll work on the audio this week to get the audio done. It'll be like someone reading a book. It won't be full cast or anything like that. I just can't do that. I don't have the capability to do that yet, nor the editing prowess to do that yet. But I want to be clear that you're supporting us. So it's just our gift to you just for supporting us. So we're not trying to make money on a Star Wars thing. I want to be clear on that.
Definitely not. No. And
all. We're just making it as a gift. But the story, once we get the story done, I'll try to get it into an ebook format, so that way on our Ko-fi page for all of our listeners, for everyone, subscriber or not, you can pull it down and enjoy it. Kind of.
Well, and like I said, I really like where this story is going because, I mean, first of all, again, it does not take away from Darth Maul. It doesn't take anything, from his abilities. It still makes him out to be as awesome as he is in episode 1, and I think it enhances Qui-Gon's abilities a little bit more, which I like, but it also doesn't take away from the dramatic scene at the end where it's kind of
the
teasing
end of episode 1.
Yeah, that where it's teasing you at this point that Qui-Gon could still die here,
Yeah.
Obviously we know he's not, because that's our what if he survives, but it's putting him in a peril position that he still could die, and and it still leaves it kind of open for the moment.
Yeah.
So I like
so
it.
you
I
gotta
like
think, we just wrote almost 1,000 words. Now most books, just regular, what's here, let's do this. Let's go to, we're gonna say how many words are in a science fiction novel. Sound good?
Okay.
Science fiction and fantasy novels typically have word count between 90,000 and 125,000 words.
Nice. Okay.
So let's ask this. How many words are in Star Wars A New Hope novel? How many words were in 11,684 total words?
Holy cow. And how many words do we have in that first chapter?
Wait. That doesn't sound right. How many? There are 165.
Yeah, that can't be right.
No, that's just words. No, let me rephrase that. That's how.
Yeah, I was going to say, that cannot be right.
That cannot be right. What is the word count in Star Wars A New Hope novel? I don't know. Oh, wait. Oh, William Shakespeare's Star Wars, Verily A New Hope, has 44,000 words. So my point being is we just wrote 1,000 words with AI in, really, we got started 30 minutes ago, right, after doing the pre-work. And so you figure you could, a novella, so we could ask how many words in a novella. So how many words in a science fiction fantasy novella? Novella is 20,000 to 40,000 words. So you figure we could do that in 10 hours. So you could write a book in a weekend.
Let's see. Sage says A New Hope, info author George Lucas, word count 56,000 based on page count.
Okay.
Pages is 224.
Okay.
Nice. Look at Sage.
Thank you, Sage. Getting them in there. I love it. I love it. So, so you could do that on a weekend. kind of a thing. You could write a 30,000 word novella. Now we're shooting really for 10,000, on this. Kind of see. Okay, so that is a wonderful start. Thank you. Please continue with the remembering chapter 1. Please write a 1,000 word count word count for chapter 2 based upon the story beat. Now you can also tell it. Now we're not going to do this, but you can tell AI to write in a particular author style. So write in a similar style as Stephen King. You can do that, which is really interesting. I have tried that, which is really fascinating to do that. So, or you can say, hey, use a more upbeat tone, or you can say, make this chapter more emotional, or, focus in on the emotional side, those kinds of things. We're not going to do that because that just gets really nerdy and detailed. So now we're going to.
I have a question. So
sure, go ahead.
You put in there, you said remembering chapter 1. Do you need to do that before each chapter?
I have found it is wise to do that. Okay. So it remembers where it's coming from, and then it helps you know where it's going.
Gotcha.
Kind of a thing.
I mean, it's good to know those types of prompts and stuff. So
it does. The prompts make a difference. Now, the nerdy novelist is really a good. He's got some. You can watch his YouTube videos for free, and he gives you some of these prompts within those videos. Kind of why he if you look at one, he's got a super prompt. He calls them super prompts, where they're just ginormous. They're huge, and they bring out all the different aspects of remember the last chapter. Here's the story beats, and it's pretty fascinating. I'm not quite there yet at my skill level of using super prompts. I will eventually. I'm just spending this time just to get some ideas together and practicing writing short stories. I'm writing one on an OCD assassin. An assassin, a female assassin who has OCD and can't stand the sight of blood. It was my wife's idea.
So, I love it. That's funny.
And the whole scene takes place where she has to infiltrate a mansion to kill someone. And she usually is pretty stealthy, but something goes wrong. And so then she can't shoot from afar. She has to actually go into the house, and then she has to confront her OCD as she goes through the house. So it's an action comedy style.
Nice.
Yeah. All right.
Well, you know, I have an idea for a kind of a horror comedy, but I don't want to reveal what it is because I haven't quite started yet. And I don't want to give anything away until I'm fairly sure I'm going to finish it.
Yeah, it's all good. You'll get it. The fun thing is as you work with AI, it makes it fun and engaging. So yes, it's work.
Oh yeah, I'm loving this.
But it's fun. Awesome. Yeah. And there is another tool out there, everybody, that if you're really going to get into writing, because it is a paid subscription service. So if you really want to do it and create worlds and stuff like that, it's called Novel Crafter. And you can get information on it through Nerdy Novelist's YouTube channel. So you can go there, and it will help you do character development, all kinds of character arc stuff. You can do, it will automatically remember everything, so you don't have to tell it to remember. And as you write the story, it'll reference links. It'll create links within your story back to your character development stuff, so you can go back and forth. It'll recognize places, locations, your lore. It has what they call a codex, where you put all of your lore in, and it remembers all of that to help you write your story. And
so something just struck me. Would you recommend using like ChatGPT to like start getting your characters and certain ideas and then start taking that information and plugging it into something like Claude or one of the others?
Yeah, if you really get into it, you can use ChatGPT to do your character development, your world building. ChatGPT is still good. I'm not saying it. Hopefully, people don't hear me saying that it's not. If you like using that
Oh,
style,
I'm not hearing that. I'm not hearing that. I'm
But
just wondering.
ChatGPT will help you do details and things, and then you can take those and port those over into Claude if you
Gotcha.
want. Claude is great for developing the story. It's just more fluid to me personally. I think it's more fluid when it does storytelling, so it is nice. If you're going to create worlds though, where you're really going to do that, I would recommend a tool like Novel Crafter to help you do that.
I mean, see, we were already starting with characters that are known and created. We didn't have to worry about making anything up. So, I was just thinking maybe you could start with ChatGPT, make up those characters into it, and then start plugging that stuff into something similar to Claude or whatever,
Yeah, if you're going to start doing details like that, I would recommend Novel Crafter to move into the thing. Novel Crafter, though, you have to have an API. In other words, you have to have a script that connects to whatever your AI service is. Now, I've got mine connected to Open Router. Now, it doesn't use a whole lot, but it can use a whole lot of tokens, as it's called, within AI. But tokens can be super cheap, and there's other AIs out there that are still in the beta stages, and you can use them for free. Now, their storytelling is not as good, but they're learning, and that's the whole point. They're learning, so it's pretty cool. So yeah. So when you're using Novel Crafter, you're using the codex and the organization to get it all together, kind of like a book format or a book writing software program is really what it is. But it just happens to connect with your AI of choice if you have an API. So that would be like ChatGPT, you could hook it up to. If you have a subscription, that's GPT-4. You have to have a subscription to get an API code. Or you can connect it with Open Router and you can tell it which AI you want it to use. And it'll tell you how many tokens you're using, and it's a pay as you go. And some people think pay as you go is better because if with Claude, if I don't use $20 worth in the month, that's just how it is. I don't, so it is a nice way to do that. All right, real quick, we'll read chapter 2 here to kind of continue our thing. So, and then we'll kind of see where we want to go from there. All right, the mood in the Jedi, chapter 2. The mood in the Jedi Temple healing ward was tense as the attendant droids completed their Bacta treatments on Qui-Gon Jinn's severe lightsaber wounds.
It even remembered Bacta. I love it.
Yep. While the Bacta tanks accelerated tissue regeneration, the saber slashes from Maul's double-bladed delivered lasting damage. The treatments would take time to restore even a fraction of Qui-Gon's formidable stamina and mobility. Only his strong connection to the Force preserved his life thus far. Yet, propped up on a med table with hair still wet, Qui-Gon was already stubbornly trying to stand as Mace Windu and several council members entered. I said no visitors, the droid. I said no visitors until tomorrow. This Jedi needs rest, the medical droid fussed, trying unsuccessfully to get its patient to lay still. That's quite all right, TT-423. I feel well enough for some conversation. Qui-Gon rasped, his voice still mending as well, despite the forced bravado. Mace glanced sidelong at Master Yoda, who simply hobbled ahead, studying Qui-Gon intently. Rest you should, but listen, the council will. Yoda said as he tapped his gimmer stick knowingly. Good night. It's bringing up all kinds of stuff.
I guess that's just cane. I don't.
The cane. That's what I've
never heard of that referred to in Star Wars, but okay.
Yeah. The other council members arrayed themselves around Qui-Gon's med table and with looks ranging from relief to lingering concern over the narrowly avoided disaster on Naboo. While we rejoice at your survival, Master Jinn, there is the troubling matter of this Sith to discuss and how he eluded our detection for so long. Mace began, his normally smooth voice edged with frustration. Qui-Gon considered his response, absently rubbing at his tender abdomen. I agree with your concerns, Master Windu, but I know at the very least the immediate threat this warrior posed has passed. We must investigate how the dark side shrouds the scope of the Jedi moving forward. More to discuss later, that will be. For now, healed you must get, Yoda interjected before another debate began around mysteries of the Force. Qui-Gon dipped his head respectfully at the Grand Master's wisdom. Of course, Master Yoda, but first, here he drew himself up more upright with some effort. I formally request to take Anakin Skywalker as my Padawan learner. The simple statement caused an eruption of hushed discussions and traded glances around the room. Only Yoda remained silent, his large eyes studying Qui-Gon thoughtfully. Finally, Mace raised a hand to restore order. While Skywalker's actions helped save Naboo, he is still far past the age for proper training. There is great risk he could follow darker paths without the correct discipline. Qui-Gon kept his expression neutral despite the surge of impatience at hearing the familiar protests. With respect, Master Windu, Anakin has already demonstrated a powerful connection to the Force few his age could match. And in defeating that Sith, the prophecy of... yes, this prophecy of yours, Mace interrupted. Based on what actual evidence from our records? His raised eyebrow showed skepticism towards mysticism.
Yeah, I like Mace Windu.
Yeah. Biting back further arguments, Qui-Gon tried another tactic. I only ask that the Council administers the test to confirm Anakin's affinity. Grant me custody to train him if he passes. I fully embrace the responsibility. He allowed a touch of defiance to enter his voice on the last line. The Council traded thoughtful looks between themselves. Finally, Yoda tapped his stick firmly to call their attention back. Right, Qui-Gon is. Test the boy we shall. Then decide, can we? He gestured toward the exit, giving Qui-Gon a subtle wink. With the Council adjourning, Mace leaned in close to Qui-Gon. Do not mistake our granting the trials as approval for training the boy Qui-Gon. His anger and fear run clearly deep. You'll carry heavy burden if Skywalker falls astray to darkness. Boy, what a threat. Qui-Gon met his concerned gaze steadily as he stood, hiding
Mace
his
don't
discomfort.
play, man. Mace
That's
don't
right.
play.
Yeah. Then it is good I have some experience bearing heavy burdens, Master. With another polite bow, he allowed the medical droid to escort him towards back to therapy, his mind turning towards Anakin's future. 2 days later, Anakin stood nervously in the center of the High Jedi Council chamber, trying not to fidget as he felt the intense stares from the 12 masters seated around him. He recognized Master Windu in the small green one called Yoda, who had asked him all sorts of strange questions so far about the Force, and his heart pounded knowing Qui-Gon was observing closely from an shadowed alcove, still recovering but determined to support Anakin through these mysterious tests. Clear your mind, young one, the stern face Mace Windu suddenly rumbled, his tone surprisingly less harsh than when addressing Qui-Gon. We wish to explore your connection to the Force without preconceptions. Anakin gulped, not really understanding, but resigning himself with a slow exhale. He had no idea what to expect now. Glancing towards Qui-Gon for reassurance, the tall Jedi Master gave an almost imperceptible nod and wave of confidence. Okay, just feel it like always, Annie, the young boy repeated to himself, willing his senses to spread out like he instinctively felt on pod races. The council members exchanged intrigued glances as objects around the room began gently rattling. Yoda's eyes widened in surprise as even his gamer stick tilted up off the floor. Anakin stood in calm focus until Master Windu gestured to end the exercise. As the council discussed privately, Anakin bit his lip, anxiously watching their expression closely. Please let them say yes. Qui-Gon believes in me. I want this more than anything. His fist tightened nervously.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Yeah. So, well, let's see. Here's SageSpace says the Gimmer Stick purpose. The Gimmer Stick was a wooden cane used by Grandmaster Yoda during the last decades of the Galactic Republic. And up until his death, shortly before the Battle of Endor, the stick was made from a Gimmer bush, which grew on many worlds, including Kashyyyk and Dagobah.
Wow. Look at Sage.
Sage, what? That's awesome.
Thank you, Sage. That is great. I'd never heard of it referred to as a Gimmer Stick, so that's cool.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
now I will always think of it as the Gimmer Stick. So.
Right? And what's interesting is we didn't have to tell ChatGPT that. Again,
No,
it's how you set it up in the beginning. You're a 25-year best-selling Star Wars author and all that kind of stuff.
I'm impressed. This has done a great job so far. I'm looking forward to seeing what the rest of the story is going to be.
Yeah. So, whew. Wow. What a great start. So we only got 2 chapters done. We got that chapter done in half an hour. So you can see, I mean, as you go through it, that the way you set it up can help really lead into how it gets accomplished. And you can copy and paste each section. So to copy and paste that into just a ebook format would be really easy and stuff like that. So
nice. Okay,
yeah.
Well, I'm really liking this. This is cool. I cannot wait to hear or read the end of it. It's going to be good.
Yeah, I agree. It's good stuff. It's some good stuff right there.
Nice.
All right. Well, sorry we couldn't get it all done, everybody, because I think it's going to turn out more. So, here's Sage. Sage is popping in again. Here he goes. 2 hours, over 800 words. Yoda's voice. Much revealed there was. LOL.
Well, he's a man of few words.
Right? So you figure we've already put an hour into it. We've developed the idea, kind of the big idea behind it. We've done story description. Then we did story beats. Then we took those story beats and turned them into chapters, into an outline. And then now we're just telling it, remember chapter 1, remember chapter 2. Now we'll tell it, remember chapter 1 and 2. Now write chapter 3. And then you just go through and then you tell it. You can tell it to then remember just chapter 3. You don't have to tell it to remember chapter 1, 2, and 3, but you can. And it will bring out certain parts. So I'll do what I can to see if we can't get this looking really, really nice and pretty, and get it done and get the ebook to our Ko-fi folks. And then I'll have to figure out how to get it done in 11 Labs is what I use for the voice, and it does a really nice job.
Cool.
I've done a couple of stories in one. I've done both with that, plus some ambient noise behind it. I don't think I'll do ambient noise behind this one because it'd be kind of big and kind of long. But we'll see how it goes.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. This turned out to be an even cooler idea than I thought when I first came up with the idea. So,
right.
I'm really happy with it. So hopefully everyone else likes this.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Well, I think we should start wrapping things up.
Okay.
You want to go through your review, Stephen?
I will. Hey, everybody. As we mentioned, I'm going to give you the website. It's www.kofi.com/2geeks. So ko-fi.com. Some people say Ko-fi. Some people say coffee. /2geeks. That's the number 2 GEEKS. But if you just want to go to our website, www.2geeksmike.com, you can, if you look at the menu at the top, you can get to our Ko-fi page from there, as well as to our website page, which I put up on the screen, 2 Geeks and Microphone, post-shop, fourthwall.com. But forget that. Just go to, wait for it, 2geeksmikemerch.com. Mike did a nice job with that. So the number 2 geeksmikemerch.com. And you can see all of our merch page stuff that we've got on there. We'll be adding some more stuff. We've got some neat ideas to do that, but just hit our website. That'll also take you to all kinds of aspects of Two Geeks realm. It is kind of our hub. I'll be updating it hopefully today and tomorrow as well with some new info and stuff. So that is the game plan, everybody. Also we want to let you know that we don't yet have an affiliate link to Novel Crafter or anything like that yet, but we may just look into that and see if we can do that.
I like how you said we don't yet have that.
Right. But we're going to see what we can do. Hey, if you do want to reach out to us at Two Geeks, the best way to is email at show@twogeeksmike.com. That's our email. And you can hit us up there with any comments or suggestions or anything like that. So, all right. Well, Mike, it's all you now.
And if you've made it this far, please, make sure and go and like and subscribe. Go like us on Facebook and follow us over there. I try to put up a lot of fun memes and any information of upcoming episodes, so on and so forth over there. Also, give the bell a little tickle over on YouTube and make sure and subscribe over on there. And like the videos on YouTube, because when you like those, it helps the algorithm. YouTube likes that, and it helps
up steam too.
Yeah. Our last episode, Megan and I did the Willy Wonka episode, and it got quite a few hits. So, yeah, and the more people who like it, it'll be visible to more people who may like that type of thing. So please go and do that. And with that said, I don't think I have anything else. Do you, Stephen?
Nope, I'm good. That was fun.
Okay. That was a lot of fun. So make sure and check out our Ko-fi page to get the ending of the story. And until then, may the Force be with you always. Thank you for joining us today on the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast. Tune in next week when we will have more news and reviews. Until then,
may the Force be with you.